And welcome to another edition of of Cancer with Kakaki Cancer with Dr. Denise Ejo in the house in partnership with AIT. Just a very quick one. Onye, please unmute your mic. Thank you. Unmute your mic. Awesome. Thank you. So today what we're talking about, we're going to be talking about facing the challenges of blood cancer, a champions discussion. Our guest today is a blood cancer, and we always call ourselves the champions. We are the champions. Navigating this journey is not that easy. So and she will be sharing her story, and we'll be looking at some of the issues that have to do with it. But the reason we're talking about blood cancer this month today is because this is the blood cancer, one of the cancers in September. So what is blood cancer? Let's go from there. We're not going to be looking at it from the medical perspective. We're looking at it from the patient perspective today. Blood cancers happen when blood cells do not develop properly. And there are quite a few of them. There's leukemia, there's lymphoma, and there's myeloma. Now, a type of cancer that starts in the bone marrow where blood is produced. That's basically it. And its symptoms are normally, this is the key one I want all of us to take away when we listen to Onye this morning, is fever, chills, fatigue, weakness, weight loss, bone and joint pain, and anemia. Anemia is let me try and say it in simple English. Your blood levels have gone down. So welcome to another edition of Cancer with Dr. Denise Ejo. It's awesome. It's nice. It's a lovely day. It's the last weekend of September. So, Onye, how are you? Good morning.
I'm fine, thank you, doctor. Good morning, everyone.
Can you hear me? Can you put your volume up a bit more, please?
Okay. Good morning, doctor. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me on the show.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me. So let me just give you a briefing about who Mrs. Onyenyi Nwosu Okafo. She is a champion and an advocate. We describe ourselves as champions. The fact that we battle it and we're still in it, and some of us have come out of it, we are champions. And so we really describe ourselves as that. And everybody just has to go with it. So I'm going to call you for the purpose of this entire program. Onye, is that okay?
It's fine.
Awesome. Onye is an astute entrepreneur with a passion for providing solutions to advance the cause of humanity, especially in the area of healthy living. She is a social influencer who works with youths, the vulnerable and the less privileged, to inspire them to maximize their potential for their well-being. She is an experienced banker, social marketer, beauty therapist. Okay, you got a lot of things I'm going to come back to you on. Event manager and organizer with a strong knack for excellence and valuable results. That's quite a nice one. There are a lot of things there that you do that I may be looking for you after when I'm in Nigeria. Well, awesome. Well done. Good morning. And welcome, everyone. Now we want to start our show, and what we're going to be talking about is blood cancers. So I'm going to ask you a very quick question. And the first one is, please share your experience, your cancer experience with us. Some of us do not really know much about blood cancers. And this year, we have made it a point of going for all the cancers that are not very well spread or well known.
Okay, blood cancers are cancers that they start from the bone marrow where the blood is being produced. It starts when a cell is mutilated, it's malformed, and then it starts multiplying, and then it outgrows the healthy cells. And that's when blood cancer happens. So in my experience, I got ill, I was losing weight, I was breathless, having night sweat, so many symptoms, cough. I could cough for hours and hours, and so I went to hospitals, different hospitals. They would say, oh, you have a flu. They would do say there's nothing wrong, just go home, you'll be fine, take this, take that. So I kept going from one hospital to the other, but I knew something was wrong. So finally I went to a hospital in Lekki Phase 1. It's owned by foreigners anyway. So that was how I was asked to do a CT, and then they found CT and X-ray, and they found a large mass on my chest, a mass that was larger than my heart. So when I went to the doctor with the report, and then she told me, said, this is cancer. I was like, what? What are you saying? Is this a joke or something? She said, this is blood cancer. I said, but there's no history. There's nothing I've done to deserve cancer. And then she said, cancer could happen to anyone. It does not discriminate. Whether you're a child, you're an adult, you're rich, you're poor, it does not discriminate. It could happen to anyone. So I broke down, I cried. I called my family. I said, see what the doctor just told me. And everyone was like, wow, how do we go about it? How do we start? So, and then I asked the doctor, I said, what's the way forward? They said, well, let her be honest to me that I can't be treated here in Nigeria. That if I have my funds, I should move abroad. If I could go to Europe, America, India, that I could get some help, but that she's in doubt because it was already too late. The diagnosis came so late, So, wow, I started the process of trying to get my visa, my passport ready, everything, and it was a whole lot of time being wasted. At the time, I had to go to Abuja to see if my passport would come out early and express. So I got it. The visa took 1 month to be out. At that time, visa to India to get treatment. So by the time I could get everything ready to travel, I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't walk. I couldn't sit. I couldn't stand. I couldn't eat. It was bad. My lungs were filled with fluid. On the day of travel, I was in the flight, and the flight took off, and then it's at 3,000 feet. Immediately after the announcement, I couldn't breathe anymore. So I called an air hostess. I said, is there a way for this plane to turn back to Lagos? She said, why? I said, I can't breathe. I'm ill. I can't breathe. She said, no, it's not possible. And I said, okay, can I have an oxygen? Do you have oxygen in the plane? And then they said, yes. So they brought oxygen. They made an announcement. There's a doctor on air. And a doctor came, and actually there was a doctor going to traveling with us, and then he came around, oxygen, switching from one oxygen to the other, one cylinder to the other once it's finished. It sustained me till I got to Delhi. I called the hospital I was going to. Then they came with an ambulance. They picked me up, got to the hospital. There was no, zero waiting hours. Everything was swift, from X-ray to PET-CT, admissions, everything was just swift. And by the time my PET-CT was out, the doctor told me, see, that the day I arrived in India was supposed to be my last day on earth. That from the things they had seen on my PET-CT, there was nothing to keep me alive. There was no reason to be alive, So that everything had shut down. Everything was just too bad. He said I had a 2% chance. Should they go ahead to treat me? I said, if you go ahead to treat me, fine. 2 things will happen. If you don't treat me also, you know what will happen. So they continued. From there, the treatment started. After the first, I had a surgery to take out the lymph nodes that were, filled. My lungs were filled with fluid, yellow thick fluid that didn't make me breathe. So all the water was taken out, and then chemo was started. After the first round of chemo, I passed out. I was taken to the ICU. I was unconscious for some days, in and out. I was on life support. Machines were all over my body, plugs everywhere, just to keep me alive, So I was there for some days, and then luckily I made it out of the ICU. I came back to the world. Treatment continued, I think my doctor really wanted me to leave because they were doing everything every time they were with me. Machines were on me, treatment, chemicals, everything, And here I am. I'm grateful.
How many years ago was this?
This was in December 2017. The cancer symptoms started in February 2016. I was going to hospital, one hospital to the other in Nigeria. They couldn't find out what it was until around August 2017. That was like more than a year. And then I left in December 2017 for treatment.
You see,
So I
I've
had
come
my
to learn
treatment from
something.
December to June.
It's very interesting when you say it, because you said I was going for all over the hospitals. It seems as if all of us seem to have the same story of going from
Yeah.
one hospital to the other. It is, you see, one thing I'll say to you, we thank God you are telling your story today, and the fact that you are able to tell it is supposed to aim at give, or rather to give hope to someone out there who is going through what you're
So,
going through, who's going through what you went through, and realize we can still
yeah.
fight. Mine
Yeah.
started when 2016. Yours started 2016. Okay. No, mine started 2015. I was diagnosed 2016. Yours started 2016. You
Okay.
were diagnosed 2017. Okay,
Okay.
but you are telling your story. You are alive.
Yeah.
You had a choice. You could have
Yeah.
left it. So, in your own
Yeah.
view, in the whole process of your experience, what were the
Mm.
challenges you went through personally, and how did you get through them?
Okay. The major challenge was late diagnosis. You know,
Oh yeah.
being diagnosed at stage 4. Stage 4 means like, I don't know how many percent chance, but when I got to India, believe me, they told me it was a 2% chance of survival. That was like nothing. But I said 2% is still something. Please go ahead, treat me. I'll be fine. You know, it was nothing. And then not knowing where to go for treatment. After the doctor told me I couldn't be treated in Nigeria, let her be honest with me, I can't be treated in Nigeria. That I should go to US, Europe, India. So I checked, I said, if I start applying to US, I don't know when I'll get the date for interview. You know, time was fast spent. And then I had to go for the option of India. So, and I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went to that hospital, and I'm glad I went to India. They are so good. They are so good. And then another challenge was I met some doctors who were trying to take advantage of me. When my CT came out and it was diagnosed blood cancer, lymphoma, the doctor was saying, oh, just come to my hospital, bring 1 million, I'll do surgery, take it out, and then you'll be fine. And then I went home, I checked Google, I said, no, this is not the treatment for lymphoma. I went home, and then what if I didn't know? What if I wasn't stubborn enough to go to ask Google? So just sometimes doctors will try to take advantage of you to just take that money. And also, my health insurance at that time didn't cover cancer tests, didn't even cover visit to the oncologist. So every time I see the oncologist, I have to pay cash from my pocket. No health insurance. And then finance was another thing. You earn in Naira, you go abroad to spend in dollars on medical trips. Finance was an issue. Blood cancer is not cheap. Cancer itself is not cheap. So it was a lot of challenge. And then zero awareness about cancer. I have never heard, I didn't know, I just heard people have cancers, but I'm like, when people talk about cancer, I just walk away. I'm like, this kind of thing can't happen to me. So that's just what it is. Nobody, when you talk about cancer, now people just look at you and they say, what is she even saying? But believe me, cancer is everywhere. People are living with cancer. They are silent. They are not saying anything. They're struggling with themselves. And that's it. So we need to create awareness. People who have survived should speak up. People who are battling cancer should speak up. It shouldn't be a taboo. People shouldn't be stigmatized for having cancer. So there's a lot of things.
It's very interesting when
the issue also of getting my passport. It was an issue. Getting the visa. Took over 1 month to get my visa to travel. Lots of issues.
You see that you've actually raised a lot of administrative bureaucracies that actually have challenged the process. I mean, that's 2017 you had it. Quite a lot of things have changed, or at least now in Nigeria, at least we've got a few good cancer centers in Nigeria. However, like you said, somebody's telling you bring 1 million. Cancer cannot be cured in 1 million. So why would
It can be treated with 1 million. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, that to me is now an administrative issue, because that to me is saying that the people in charge of monitoring the medical professions across the country need to do a serious audit of those who claim to be able to treat cancer,
Yeah.
and make sure that they are qualified to treat cancer patients, because using us as guinea pigs in today's world is actually very unfair. With less than 100 oncologists in Nigeria, it already tells you that there's a serious shortage. So
Yeah.
it is best. But anyway, let's continue, because I don't want to go into this. It's just very sad that we have to be talking about it as, why is it that survivors are the ones having to make or champions have to make this case for us? And I hope that the people in charge are listening, that this is the experiences we are having, because there's not everything you said I went through, every single one. And the same thing you did, I flew out in 24 hours because I had a second passport. You had to wait for 1.5 months. And that is wrong. We shouldn't have to. We were born and brought up there. We grew up there. We understand there, and we have to run away because of treatment. That's not right. What are your views now on changing the narrative for cancer patients? I mean, I think that's what we're trying to talk about, because like you said, we're stigmatized. I've now learned a phrase, and they say cancer patients are the most expensive beggars in the world. It's a shame to have to say it, but I will say it and I will sing it to everybody, that is what the world has turned cancer patients to. Anywhere in the world, cancer patients are the most expensive beggars. We beg for food, we beg for medicine, we beg to get treatment, we beg to get help. Why? And you said you had insurance, and you couldn't even, insurance couldn't even cover you. Whoa.
Yeah.
Go on, talk to me.
Okay, for the views I have, people should know that cancer is not a death sentence. Once someone is diagnosed with cancer, there's this fear, there's this, this initial living in denial, like it's not possible. I reject it in the name of Jesus, whatever they believe in. You say, it's not a death sentence. Portion. It can be treated, yes. It's not a death sentence. So if you go for checkup and then you get the right treatment, when cancer is detected, you'll be fine. And then also, people should celebrate their success stories. If you're a survivor, come out and speak up and let others know that cancer is curable. Don't hide and say, oh, I don't want people to say cancer is in my family, blah, blah, blah. I don't have any shame, no stigma. You can't look at me and tell me not to talk about cancer, because when I had it, I had no awareness about it. I had nobody to go to. It was even my sister who talked to her best friend, and her best friend said, oh, I have an aunt who survived cancer. That was how we got in contact, and she told me, okay, start the process, and she put me through. And then thirdly, seek medical help from qualified medical practitioners. Go to only oncologists. Do not listen to doctors who say, oh, I can treat it, I've been treating it. And then you go to their facility, you see a 2-bed facility, a drip stand, and that's all. And then the person is claiming he can treat cancer. How? And then traditional medicines also, those ones are something else. And all these things they do, they extort money from patients. I'm telling you, they mix concussions and they say this one is 500,000. Once you take it, you're good to go. No. And then also, there's need to improve the public and private sector to expand facilities, make PET-CT readily available and cheap in Nigeria. The only place you can get a PET-CT scan in Nigeria, the cost of each session is 750,000 as of today. And the cancer patient will have to do like 3 times, during the course of their treatment. So 750,000 times 3, that's about 2-point-something million. That's just for a PET-CT alone. Radiotherapy machines in some hospitals, they're outdated, advanced countries stopped using them in the 80s. It's just very few hospitals that have this new radiotherapy machines, and then also so many things the government should do. Yeah.
It's very interesting what you just said. Pet City. Pet City. Me, I only did it once, so I haven't done the second one.
I did
Honestly, I haven't done the second one. Pet City is
Pet
Pet City. To be fair, let me be honest. Pet City is very expensive. No, but it's expensive anywhere in the world. It's actually, I think, one of the most expensive.
I did for like $300 each time I had it.
Okay, that's in India. But generally, from what I understand, Pet City is expensive. But like you rightly point out, $300 and 750,000 naira. Somebody said to me last week that it's 750. I told the person, I said, you're joking. I'll come back to you. So if it's 750, that means that the average citizen of Nigeria now can no longer access Pet City. So what other CT scanning mesh? Okay, so now we've got some more questions that next time we will find a specialist. In fact, I have somebody in mind now. We're going to call him to come and explain all these things to us because it's highly required. So as I'm about to round up, let me just ask you one thing. Give me 3 things that you think would impact positively. I always like to look at a positive ending, not a negative ending. Positively experience that will impact a cancer patient positively going forward. This is for a patient. Because, if we don't talk about the good part, we're just going to cry.
Yes. For a patient going through cancer at this time, keep your hope alive. Keep hope alive, Don't just despair and say, oh, this is the end has come. Now I'm going to wait for the day I'm going to die. No. Then seek help medically. Seek help from professionals. Go for your appointment. If they said your chemo is in 2 weeks' time, please do not wait for 2 weeks and 2 days. Go on that day, get your treatment, and then you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Thank you. Thank you
very,
very much. Thank you. Together we fight, together we win. We will win this battle last. No matter how they do it. I want to thank you all, everyone, for joining us this morning as we've had this opportunity. Next month is Breast Cancer Month. A lot is going to be happening around Nigeria. I am saying any state in Nigeria anybody in Nigeria looking for where to engage with the breast cancer campaign, I trust me, you can find it. Social media, anywhere. Please be part of this campaign. Please help us to create awareness. Follow us on Common Cancer Foundation. We will continue to share posters of all the events, as many of them as shared with us. We will share publicly so that people can be part of that campaign. It is very important. Common Cancer Foundation. You can subscribe. You can share and see us. You can find us. We have a YouTube channel where the recordings are, and we hope that you'll be able to enjoy the next 1 month engaging from a fun side, meeting survivors of all cancers in a space of safety as we go forward. So next month, Breast Cancer Month, is going to be very one-packed, full of everything. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We'll see you soon. Look forward to seeing you. Bye. And all advocates, thank you. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Hello, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.